Hey guys, Sixth here, bringing you part 5 of my tutorial series. Last time, what we did, we talked about tasks, and we set up our tasks. Set up a little bit of code as well. This time around, what we're going to do is we're going to set up and talk about wavepoints, and we're also going to implement a random patrol script. So the first thing that you guys are going to need to do is, in the description I included a link for a package called Platinum Patrol. Of course, Platinum Patrol is created by Comfy Blanket and not myself. However, it's free to use, so I included a direct link for it. Otherwise, you can just Google search it. And what you're going to do is you're going to unpack it right into our root folder here, and it will look just like this. We'll have a couple more folders in it. Okay. Next, after you have that installed, what we're going to do is set up some waypoints. So here's our little enemy base. Right now we really only have our one enemy, which was our task. So let's go ahead and say it and change him to the squad leader. So maybe he looks a little bit different, maybe a little bit more menacing. We'll even put him in the metal shed. Next, we'll add a couple more units. We'll hit groups, and then we'll go to op4, and we'll select CSAT because that's what we're fighting against, and we'll just use an infantry rifle squad. So next we're going to ungroup all of these, and that's just because we're going to set them manually. We can get rid of the squad leader. We already have one. We'll put the auto rifleman there, team leader there, auto rifleman over here, rifleman AT there, rifleman there, there, there. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start using wavepoints finally, which is F4. We're going to click on our first auto rifleman, and then we have to kind of hover over to where it says peer, double click, and what we're doing is we're telling this person to go inside this area, and as we can see there's a lot of positions that he can go through, but we'll just select him through position 1. We'll do the next for the team leader, and we'll skip a few positions to 5. We'll go with the rifleman now, and sometimes it gets a little tricky. Bring him to position 10. Rifleman to position 13. Okay, and then we'll move these 3 in this building right here. So we'll click on our auto rifleman down here, move him into position 1, move the medic into position 5, the auto rifleman into position 10. Okay, so now what we're going to do for just testing purposes is we're going to spawn a, doesn't matter what it is, it could be a squad leader or survivor or whatever, CSAT, op4, and we'll make it a player and make sure he's not grouped to anything. And we'll just see how these guys look in the building, see if we need to change anything up. Of course, you can always just manually put everybody where you want them to, but this way is a little bit faster. So we can see where our guys are heading into the buildings. So this is actually just a pier, it's not a building, so we're going to want to reroute these guys. But let's see how the other guys worked. So we got one of them positioned down here on the first floor, another on the staircase, and then another on the very top of the staircase. So that's all fine for these guys, but we'll reposition. Sometimes what you'll have to do is just kind of look around, see what the best position is. I think I'll put one on the edge there, maybe one in the middle here, another one by the tree over there. So let's do that real quick. So we can just click delete over all those, and that'll remove all the waypoints. Put one in the corner there, another one in the corner there. Maybe we'll have one guy looking around over here, and then another by the tree over here. So again, let's see how that looks. Okay, so we got one guy over there, another in the corner. Maybe we'll push him back a little bit. And sometimes with Arma, you'll have bugs like this. But people are just not spawning how you want them to. So we're going to have to reposition him. And the other guy by the tree looks good. So we'll just put him right outside the metal shed. And then we'll click save. Next, what we're going to want to do is set up maybe some patrols down these roads here, since these are closest to the farm, and maybe a patrol on the outside over in the forest here, or woods. So let's go back to groups, double click, but that's too many for some patrols, so we'll just do fire team's okay, but for what we want to do, we'll just do a sentry. So we'll put a sentry right there, a sentry right there, and we'll put another sentry right here. So let's go ahead and waypoint our first sentry. So we're going to put one marker right here, another marker right over here. Typically, vehicles will stick to the road. Actually, we'll do one of them a vehicle, but we'll leave this guy as a foot patrol. We'll have him go as far as about here. And then what we want to have him do is go back. We'll just click there, click over there, and then finally on the last one, instead of move, we'll put cycle. And on that note, there's a lot of different. There we go. It's a lot of different. We'll go to the first waypoint. A lot of different settings that you can do for the waypoints, like what combat stance will they have. Sometimes they'll never fire, they'll always hold fire, and you can change up their formations. You can change how fast they're going to go. You can change their behavior as well. So what we want these guys to do is we're going to have them on limited speed, so they're going to be walking, and they're going to feel pretty safe. So they'll have their weapons stashed, and we'll actually do a vehicle right over here. So under units, we'll select Op4, and then we'll go to cars, and we'll use an Ifrit. Make sure the Ifrit's not grouped to anything. Spawn him on the road here, and we'll set up some waypoints for him. So we'll put one right over there. We'll have him go down this big straight road, and then we'll have him come back. And then, of course, for the last one, we'll click cycle. So what cycle does, if I didn't explain before, it'll just recycle through these waypoints. So it'll just keep making them go in this pattern here. And then finally, for these guys back here, we're going to have them move out over here, but this time we're going to set up a placement radius. So we'll say 50. Actually, we'll do 150. And then the completion radius will be 50. So what this is saying is this guy's going to move anywhere within this dotted circle, and he will only move to another waypoint once he's reached within the solid circle. So we'll do another one of that over here. 150. Completion of 50. So he's going to move over here, somewhere around here, and then when he's in the center, he'll move over here until he's in the center. And then finally, we'll set up a cycle. So that way he keeps repeating, and he'll just keep these two guys right here, will just keep moving around over here until they see somebody or otherwise. So let's click save. Let's check out how our waypoints are doing. So we can see our Ifrit's starting to move. For the most part, it looks like it's staying on the road as well, which is good. Sometimes in Arma, it'll be real goofy. And that Ifrit should come back soon. We'll get up to the start of the road up here to see how our walking team is doing. And there they are, and they're moving along. So that's good. And we'll just safely assume that our jungle team is doing just fine back there as well. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do, we've got some good waypoints set up for our enemies, is we're going to set up some randomly spawned, randomly generated AI. So to do that, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do some scripting. It's not too bad though. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new, and we'll save this as AI spawn.sqf, and we'll leave that the root. Now again, we're going to have to go to our initiation, but this time with Platinum Patrol, actually we'll start it up here so it happens first. With Arma, everything happens in order from 1 to 17 or however many lines you have. So if something breaks on the first, it won't call anything down here ever. So what we need to do is compile our patrol ops. So we're going to call compile preprocess file line numbers Platinum Patrol / plat init.sqf. So what this does is it'll call our plat init sqf. It's similar to down here, however we're compiling it. And this is what's needed and how Comfy Blanket wants his plat init to be called. So I don't mess with it. If it works, and therefore it's good. So the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to open a file, and its location is in Platinum Patrol, and we're going to open plat init. And we're going to also open factions op4. We're going to also open functions. Oh, that'll be good. It should be everything that we need to open for now. Okay. So in the plat init, we shouldn't actually have to edit anything yet. We might come back to this later, but for now we'll close it. But for the op4.sqf, we need to change this first array to make it exactly what we want it to be. And this is the player IDs or unit IDs that are very similar to how we changed right here. However, this time we're going to spawn our group up here of op4 Rifle Squad. And we're going to go through, and we're going, since we're using CSAT, we're going to copy this first one up here. Go to our script. Paste. Go to the next guy. Copy. And paste. Go to the next guy. Copy. And paste. And we'll repeat this process until we have the entire squad done. And if you were using something other than CSAT, you would do the same process for whatever squad you're going to be using. So if there's one more after this. Okay, we'll click save there. Then we'll go back to our AI spawn SQF. So let's comment out platinum. Actually, we'll just type random AI spawn script. Okay. And then next, we're going to create a key, so that way we can remember everything that we're going to use. I've already created one, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. You can just pause the video to copy and paste this if you so desire. But I'll keep continuing on. So I'm going to type all this out and then I'll explain it for afterwards. So one, Alright, so I know it's a lot, but we're going to go through it all right now. So the first thing is the zone object. And it can be any object except for markers, preferably a trigger or game logic. I will always use game logic, and in this case we're going to be using game logic as well. And the name of it is going to be spawn1. You can change that to whatever you want, but again, our name is going to be spawn1. Next will be the side. 0 would be blue 4, 1 would be op 4, 2 would be independent, and 3 would be civilian. In this case, we're using op 4, so it's set to 1. Next would be the trigger radius to spawn units. And we have it set to 1200 meters. So in this case, if a player goes within 1200 meters of the game logic, the enemies will spawn. Next is the patrol radius, in which waypoints are assigned. So 80 to 80 means they'll go within an 80 around radius. The next, which is the first bracket, is the cache spawn and cache despawn, which essentially means it'll despawn within 800 to 900 meters from you. So if you leave the area, it'll clean up resources, which will make frames better. Next is the minimum squad limit and the max squad count. So this is saying it'll spawn one squad and only one squad. Next will be the minimum squad size and maximum squad size. So it'll spawn a minimum of 4 people per squad and a maximum of 4 people per squad. If we set this to like 6, for example, it'll spawn somewhere between 4 and 6 people. We're going to leave it at 4 and 4. Next will be the unit type pulling from the arrays. And the arrays, which are a preset of 10, are right here. As you can see, we're going to be using the first array, which we just set up. So we have it at 1. Next is the unit's behavior, which is safe at 0, 1 is aware, and 2 is stealth. And we have it at 1, which is aware. Next is the unit's skill. How tough are they? We're going to leave it at 0.5, somewhere in the middle between lowest and highest. So finally, we're going to start talking about our booleans, which are right here. The first is the outer spawn. Will they spawn somewhere outside of the radius? No, they will spawn inside the radius. Next, will they patrol buildings? Yes, they will patrol buildings. We have it set to true. And then finally, will they be marked on the map? No, they will not be marked on the map. Okay, we'll save this. So the last part of it is just telling our function zone inf to spawn. And if we wanted to use vehicles, it would be spawn function zone vehicles. But we're not. So that's all fine. So again, we'll save. And we named this spawn1 with an 80 by 80 radius. So let's go back to the other and we can get rid of this. We don't need these guys anymore. But what we are going to do is put in some game logic. So we'll click units and we'll go to game logic, objects, game logic, spawn1 for the name. Okay. So around here, 80 by 80, however big that is, I think that's about it. That's where that random patrol will be. And if we wanted to make it larger, just to give an idea of how big it is right now, not very big. Maybe we want to make it 280 by 280. That's a little better. We're going to do 280 by 280. So we don't need that, but we'll go back here and say 280 by 280 and save. Okay, and then finally, we're going to have to call our, and we'll do that right under here. So we'll say calling our AI spawn, and we'll type if is server, then exec VM AI spawn dot SQF. And we'll give it a sleep of 1. We don't need sleep. Okay. So now it could spawn anywhere within 280, so we're going to make this 10 and 10. I already did that, but you guys might need to. So let's test that out and see how it works. Oh, here's one of them, and they're starting to spawn. So of course they will only spread a 10 meters, but we're going to change that to 280 right now. And they'll randomly patrol this whole valley. So let's go back, change this to 280. Not 280. Click save. And we'll add one more. So we'll copy this exactly how it is, paste it, and we'll just say spawn 2. Click save. Copy this game logic. We'll paste it over here. Name it spawn 2. Okay, so now we'll have some random patrols going around here and going around here, and we could add as many of these as we wanted. But that's going to be it for this video. Next time we're going to set up our description.ext, and it'll be fairly painless, but we'll get through it.